stakeholders in electoral process, like in our nation, and all the stakeholders should be blamed. I'm talking about number one, the umpire themselves, INEC, must sit up and be seen as being unbiased, as fair to all parties. Number two, people that should be blamed is our system. Our system does not punish electoral violators. It rather sets up tribunal to decide the real winners, recount the votes. So it's more of a biased system of only to be sure who has really won. So there are not enough tribunals to judge electoral cases. For instance, if you have won an election and you are now whoever you are, there are no sufficient indictment in the eyes of the law to bring your supporters to punitive measurement for the number of people they kill or maim or the blood they shed. Another stakeholder that should be blamed are the electorates themselves. I'm afraid to say that the electorates are number one movers and proposers of violence. The candidates don't carry guns. Candidates don't carry machetes. But the followers do. And I believe that party followers, candidate followers should carry their PVC. Arm yourself with PVC, not with AK-47. The blood of nobody should be sufficient for anybody to win any election. And so you find out that all the stakeholders are indirectly partners in crime in perpetuating electoral violence. And because they are partners in crime and there are no sufficient punitive measure after the elections, this continues, this generationally in every 4 years, where people have armed themselves ready to kill and maim. Because after a winner has been declared, nobody discusses the number of people killed, no assessment. Even the election monitoring team are only monitoring the voting process. They are not monitoring the violent process. People only talk about who has won and how many votes have been voided. There are no much to talk about who was offended or wounded. And this we should bring back to the electoral monitoring system. We should find out a candidate should even be disqualified by the number of opponents that has been killed on his behalf or wounded on his behalf. This will cause stakeholders, contestants. Nigeria has always had only one very ancient, primitive formula in forestalling electoral violence, and that is mobilizing 50,000 policemen, 2 million policemen. It's intimidating to have uniformed men with arms all over our street, all because we want to have an election. If election must be free, fair. I've been in the United States during election, during Mr. President Trump's election. I was found around the United States, about the state of New York, about the state of Texas. I have not seen mobile policemen, masked DSS, all over the street, pointing gun on palm trees and showing arrows like if there's war. We must not create a war situation in an electoral environment. Election time is a beautiful time. It's a time to exercise your constitutional franchise. It's a time to exercise your legal right to choose a candidate of your choice. It's a wonderful day. It's a beautiful day. Apart from election, the only time I remember is when God gave man the right to choose what to do, the right of choice. The next time you see this beautiful freedom of choice is during democratic elections. And so we should reduce the number of police force, army, navy, air force, boy scout all over the streets. It frightens the electorates from coming out to vote. And most nefarious politicians do go through some of these security agencies to corrupt their way into owning them, using them, and passing through them to perpetuate their activities. So the very correct thing to do is citizenship education. Citizenship education will teach me and my children and my followers, my villagers, that look, praise God, election day has come. We thank Almighty God. It's time for election. Nigeria should be seen to be, excited during election. It should be a time people should come back home. People should go eat. Women should be cooking. It should be another Salah or Christmas. Election time should be another time for for celebration, apart from Easter and Salah and Christmas. Nigerians should look forward to February 16, to March 2nd. I should be on my best dress. People should be excited, and that it is only through citizenship education. We should be seen that our vote will count. It should be told us that our choices will count. And then another thing that will reduce electoral violence is election between two parties, APC and PDP, causes violence. Election between two parties, APGA and ADC, causes violence. Nigeria has more than 80 political parties. Why is it that during election, only two parties are given prominence by the media, are given attention by the electorate? We are only discussing between two candidates. If there's a broad-mindedness, an enlargement, an involvement of these parties, and Nigerians' participation and involvement in several parties, as much as 80 or 70 as they have been registered, it's not possible for 70 people to fight. It is only possible for two people to fight. That's why we have the pros and cons, the A and B, the up and down, the black and white. Fight is possible. But when the system is enlarged and the atmosphere is broadened, 70 parties, 80 parties will not be involved in fighting. The amount of tension will reduce. The amount of involvement will increase. And then the face-to-face me, I face you formula will go. And when there's no face me, I face you, everybody's involved. It becomes everybody's affair. No. One of the major causes of violence during election is the desperation of politicians, which are premeditated by the large expenditure, large volume of expenditures on electioneering campaigns. People who lose elections find out that they have lost their life savings, they have lost their income or loans. People take loans to contest election. Another reason for violence during election are what we call the instigative, inflammatory hate speeches across social media by followers and supporters of politicians. These statements are taken a little bit too far, and they infuriate the opposition and they cause violence. A third reason for violence in elections is inter-party disputes and discrepancies. A lot of water go under the bridge before a candidate emerges in Nigeria, and this has caused the other candidates, even within the party, to take a very confrontational attitude. A lot of sabotages, a lot of prejudices take place during and after elections, and this we have to set up a very strong mechanism system, possible legal system, to ward off this steam and let off this smoke in our electioneering campaigns. The effect on our democracy, our nascent democracy, our young democracy, the effect of electoral violence is that it further casts questions on our integrity. It questions even those that wins the election. Their consciences are blamed, their images are dented, their friendships are broken, and like I said, further crack in the wall of our unity. Nigeria is a very multi-tribal, multi-dimensional society. If you notice, people find themselves more of Hausa, Fulani, Igbo, Yoruba, Ibibio, Ijo, than they found themselves being Nigerians. And that is very frightening for a nation that is developing. We should look at the project of election as a project of national unity. Like I always suggest, the winner should stretch forth their hands to the losers to annex them in his government. And the losers should pick up a phone and congratulate the winners. This we can do because we have mature people, we are one people, we are one nation, and it's not a do or die affair. You see, I tell people, once there's violence in election, the process is disrupted, the process is questioned, the result is questioned. It gives us a bad name to international communities. Lives are lost. And the funny thing with followers of politicians you don't know, they are the ones that die. I've not seen a politician really die during election violence. They are his boys, his cronies, his supporters, his partners, his voters that die. And so the first victim are women and children and the innocent ones. And you see the two elephant fight and the grasses suffer. So the problem there is that the nationality, our identity as a nation is threatened, our integrity as a people. It causes further divisiveness on tribal lines, on religious lines, and this will carry over, even though anybody wins or loses, we carry over into our body politic, and that further creates cracks in the wall of our defense and progress. Election violence is very detrimental to the national health of any nation, and Nigeria has been a big receiver of this. With free, fair, credible, and peaceful 2019 elections, the following are the benefits to us. Number one, infrastructure will be protected because vehicles and houses are burned. Number two, violent free election causes more confidence on the winners. And number three, losers should have a sort of a place to lean on, to fall back. Because what causes violence is that the losers have lost everything they ever have. There must be an inclusive governance after election to bring in even losers into government. When once I know I'm going to lose election, or if I lose election, I will still be part of government. That means I will still be consulted, I will still be participated, I will be involved. There will be minimum violence. The issue of winner takes it all causes people to go mental. They go crazy because they have lost fortune. Some had borrowed money they have involved. So government that must come in should involve the opposition, promise them, we'll work together, we'll be on the round table. After all, look at the Council of State. All former heads of state are seated there of different parties. This should be brought down to all levels, whereby everybody in a state, let's take for instance, Akwa Ibom State or Cross River State, if you lose an election, all those who contested that governorship with you must be in members of a certain council discussing with you. This is the only political solution. It will bring peace so that if anybody loses election, he does not think that he has lost his life. Just leaders are even doing marvelously well. Right now, I'm a co-founder with one Imam Shefu in Lagos. We work together with foreign monitors, monitoring groups to monitor the election. Right now, there's a WhatsApp group, all religious leaders, Muslim and Christians. We are members of that group. We are proposing a free and fair election. So religious leaders are never the problem in the ensuring election, violent-free election. Rather, religious leaders are catalysts. We are the ones that control the minds and the hearts of people. And we speak peace. Islam is religion of peace. Christianity is religion of love. So where are we going to see violence? If Islam is religion of peace and Christianity is religion of love, God so loved the world, he gave his only son, Jesus Christ, to die for us. So who is going to perpetuate the violence? So religious leaders are never the problem. Yes, one or two religious leaders could be making some insightful statements. And like I said, all this falls back on citizenship education. When once we are educated, carried along, and being to seen as important, because what happened in electoral time is that only politicians are being educated. They interface, they meet, they discuss. The voters have no place to interface. You and I will never meet to discuss. And everybody is a servant of somebody, either in one political party or the other. So the government, whoever you win, bring down this election thing to the table. Bring it down to the level of the farmers and the headers, level of the drawers of waters and fetchers of wood. Let the election come down. Let the election not be done in Lagos, Abuja, Calabar, Uyo. Let it come down. Bring it down. Let it not just be only campaign. Immediately after campaign and election, the next season should be electorate education. Voters, I know that INEC has voters, education units. But okay, I have not really seen much done by them.
And they can't even do it alone.
They can't do it alone. That's why I said the critical mass of the shareholders of the electoral process are the voters. The critical mass. 99% are the voters. Only 1% are the contestants. Look at Nigeria, a country of more than 180 million people. How many are the politicians among them? Not up to 20 million are the politicians among them. It's about 160 million who are the masses, the critical mass. So the election process should be brought to the table of the ordinary man on the street and discussed. Many Nigerians don't know how the process goes. And so a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of second guessing, a lot of insinuation, of course, a lot of fake news has infuriated and manipulated the process and made the average Nigerian feel that in election time is war. He should stay at home, lock his door. Look at the number of people who have collected their voters.
That takes me to my last message
Yes.
that I want you to give.
Yes.
That has always resulted to apathy. Please send out a message to Nigerians that they need to go out and exercise their franchise.
Any Nigerian who has been privileged to register should go and collect his voter's card, the PVC. Any Nigerian who has the PVC should on the election day go out on time and queue up, be patient and get accredited and vote. Wait after the vote till your vote is counted. This is the only right in this country. All writings on WhatsApp and social media will not. Christians and Muslims, listen to me. INEC will not count your prayers. They will count the votes. So if you are a Christian or a Muslim and you are sitting down there praying and binding and losing, listen to me. Nobody will count prayer. They will count your vote. Step out there and vote for the candidate of your choice. The only way you can have a say in the management of this country, which is our home.